Good morning, everybody, and welcome along to our second of two races in sound and vision. 26 Mustang Challenge cars are lined up and ready to go. It's John Hindhaugh, as ever, in the Global Broadcast Centre, and a very special guest who was sitting on that grid yesterday is joining me. I'll tell you about that in a moment. This broadcast coming to you with Ford Performance. Ford, built Ford proud. Yesterday afternoon, sitting in Echelon was Frankie Muniz, and now I'm not sure you got the right end of the stick here, Frankie, because yesterday you were in the car, today you're sitting next to me. How was it?
Oh, I had an absolute blast yesterday. I can't thank Ford and Ford Performance enough for giving me the opportunity to race these cars. I was lucky enough to drive these the Dark Horse R out for the initial launch when they announced the series, and you know, I only got it up to second gear there, but ever since then I've been saying I want to race one of these cars, and they put me in, and now I have some experience to hopefully bring to the broadcast.
Now, you'd never driven one of these race cars before, and you'd never driven this track before. This is a track that's very, very technical. We're just to the south of Austin City, just beyond the airport, actually. Just over 3.4 miles around, 20 corners. My goodness, 20 challenging corners, Frankie, as well. What was the bit you enjoyed? What was the bit you didn't enjoy so much, maybe?
Well, I enjoyed all of it. It did take a really long time for me to get up to speed here. There's so many areas of the track that, like, if you mess up the first part of the S's, you've ruined the whole that whole sector. Yeah. So trying to figure out the timing of where I need to place the car and where I want the car, that took a long time for me. I would say this was probably the most challenging track I've ever driven to try to perfect.
Yeah, I was very fortunate when I raced here. I got 2 days of practice and then a 24-hour race, and by the time I got to my 4th or 5th stint in the car, I felt like I kind of knew which way it went, and I had done a bit of sim work beforehand as well. What were you thinking in the car as you were doing the formation lap yesterday? Were you thinking, what am I doing here?
No, well, yes and no. I mean, obviously, like, I am a racer. I was excited. You know, you have that those butterflies in your stomach of the unknown of what's about to happen. You know, also me coming to the series for the first time, like, I've never raced with these people, right? So I don't know how they race. I don't know how aggressive the starts are. I don't know how aggressive I need to be or how much they block and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, as a driver who's here, as a guest of Ford and the team, I wanted to come in. I wanted to do my best. I wanted to bring home the car clean. I didn't want to mess anybody else who's actually competing in the championship, you know what I mean, for points. So I just wanted to have a good, clean race and learn as much as I could. And fortunately, that's what happened. So I'm happy for that.
And you looked after your teammate as well, because I know you were trying to give him a chance to go for the Legends win there, and then the yellow flag came out just as you let him by. Let's have a look at the starting grid. It was a fantastic series debut for MDK Motorsports Trenton Estep yesterday. He pretty much led from lights to flag. In fact, no, he did. I think on the second, maybe the second restart, he got a little bit of a challenge from Robert Nowiger. He'll start alongside Trenton, so it's 16 and 13, the MDK and the Robert Nowiger racing cars. Then Tyler Maxson, who started a wee bit further back yesterday, fought his way through the traffic and came home for another podium, holds on to the championship lead. Just once this season, Tyler's not been on the podium, and that was at the first race at Mid-Ohio. That riled him up a little bit. He took pole and the race win on the second one. What is he going to do today? That is a quick car, that orange and black number 74 on the inside of row 2. Then Brandon Godovic for Precision Performance Motorsports. Reed Sweeney in the black and gold Robert Nowiger Racing car number 31 is in the inside of row 3, with Jeremy Fletcher in the blue and white, light blue and white 22. Sam Paley in the 26 is on the inside of row 4 from Max Opalski in the very bright metallic green, lovely looking car, that number 2 machine. Marcus Vento in the 18 for JV is alongside our pole sitter in the Legends. In the silver bullet, as we call it, Zachary Lee is pretty much perfect this season. He has managed to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's now done 6 wins, I think, on the trot. So he is absolutely running away with the championship. He's got Wes Limp just behind him on the row back, DJ Randall and row 6 on the outside for Core Motorsport. Mike Stillwagon second in the Legends. He's got Alex Bachura for company on row 14, Spark Performance, Frankie's teammate. Frankie's car has donated 1 or 2 parts to Alex. Is that right?
Yeah, he had a few parts, hits in yesterday's race. So my car that's not in this race was used to help fix his.
Okay, that seems very gentlemanly of you. Behind then, Christian Bach and Paolo Salvatore. Tom Tate, car repaired from MDK Motorsport as well. Frankie would have been starting on the outside of row 9, and then, of course, he's not. He's sitting here. And then it's Dr. Rod Randall, Stephen Vager, Nick Smither, John Strouth, Drew Newbauer, Kel Kearns in the blue number 66, Jack Lewis and Mitch Marvel. She finished off at the side of the road yesterday. Yellow and black pole sitter then is Trenton Estep for MDK. Blue and white, number 13, with the stripe on the side of that car is Robert Noaker. There are 157 different lines into the first corner, and we are racing for 45 minutes here in the second race of the weekend of the Mustang Challenge for Lone Star Le Mans. And once again, Trenton Estep has got away, but up the inside in the orange and black. That's a lovely manoeuvre from Tyler the Tiger Maxson, right up at the tailpipes there of the leader, through the S's for the first time. This serpentine run through 3 all the way up to turn 9. You're barely in a straight line for more than a second or so, and you've got to get, as Frankie rightly said, you've got to get this right. This is like a ski slalom here. If you get out of kilter early on, you're fighting it all the way through.
Yeah, especially at the start of the race, you know, when you're really nose to tail with people, it's really hard to even see where you are on the track, right? There's track limits, you know, you don't want to go over the white line. You're hoping that they don't hit the curb wrong and send them the wrong way, but you're just trying to get through, especially the first couple laps, and that's what I experienced yesterday. Defensive
line taken into the braking area at turn number 11, the almost, well, it's just on 90 degrees, isn't it, onto the 1 kilometre long back straight, and this is what we didn't see yesterday, because Tyler Maxson has put the pressure on the leader, and that has cost Trenton Estep a little bit of momentum coming out of that corner. As you come out of turn 11, the road falls away. You've got to wait for the car to get straight before you can get on the throttle. Remember, no traction control on these cars. ABS, but no traction control. End of the back straight. Estep goes back round the outside and retakes the lead. Now, can he hold on to that? Because there is a right-hand corner coming at turn 13. This is very tight and twisty. Watching on in the background, Robert Noaker in that blue and white car. 3 cars disputing the lead, then a little bit of a gap. Oh, huge sideways moment. I wonder if there might have been a little tap from Maxson onto the back of Trenton Estep there. This is what we didn't see in race 1 yesterday. Estep making his debut in this series, took a maiden debut victory, but he didn't have this kind of pressure. Oh, he's got a problem. He had a problem there. I think maybe he may have has he got a flat tyre at the back of that car as he turned into 16, right in the middle of 16 and 17. The Robert Noaker racing car kicked sideways, and that has put him way down the order, and that means we've got Robert Noaker at the front of the field. Going through in second is Sam Paley, Reed Sweeney in the black and gold car, Jeremy Fletcher in the blue and white 22, Sweeney up the inside, going into the first corner. This should be a pass that can be made. You know, when you're going up the hill, right, the entrance into turn 1 is so wide, right? So it looks so inviting. You want to shove the car in there and get in there, but then it's that super tight hairpin, and I think it's deceiving when you think that you can pass there, but I don't know. It's pretty intense. That was the voice of Frankie Muniz, who was on this circuit in this traffic yesterday. And when we sat down this morning before we came live, and I said, what was it like? He just had a smile as wide as the Mississippi Delta. He was really enjoying himself yesterday, and you want to be back in these again, don't you? Oh, 100%. Like, it's obviously I'm thrilled to be here with you, but I would much rather be racing in race 2. It's a fair point. But I will say this: I've been, like I said, I've been begging to race in this series since I knew it was being launched, and I had such a good time in it. I want to do more races in this. Like, I'm already trying to figure out if I can get to Indy for the finale, and looking at the schedule next year, because I had such a blast in these race cars. They are proper race cars, and the competition in the series, the guys driving these cars are really, really good. I was shocked by the high level of competition in the series. What would it have been like when you were starting your racing career, which came probably later than you would have liked to in life, but this kind of thing wasn't around then. Stick shift, very few driver aids. This is proper pure racing. You would have loved that back then.
I would have loved it. I mean, proper race car. You know, still has the manual 6-speed gearbox. It's one of the last kind of race cars built that way, and it's so fun. The cool thing though too about these cars is you can get 80% of the parts at your local Ford dealer. You know, so
you could have run that out of a trailer with an SUV pulling it around.
You could, and you know, there are some teams doing that on a smaller scale, but you know, they're still out there competing with some of the big teams that are here as well. And
don't forget, we have the new Ford Performance Mustang Cup as well, which comes in at a same car but at a little lower level in terms of experience. Great start by Trenton Estep from the green flag. Tyler Maxson making the move up the inside to slot into second place, and that's, I think there is a little bit of damage, by the way. I noticed it last time we saw the cars live on the hood, on the bonnet of Tyler's car. It was a beautiful dive to the inside, then he went round the outside, and that meant, of course, that Estep did not have the move. Now, did Tyler take the lead going all the way off the circuit? I think on lap 1 you're probably going to get away with that. And then there was the touch at 13, check that, 14, my apologies, and yeah, there is just a little bit of damage on the front panel and the bonnet, but then a very odd sideways slide there. I wonder if that was that would have been a left rear puncture, maybe. That's the tyre that Trenton Estep would have been leaning on there.
I don't know if there was a puncture because he's still on track. He's only 5 seconds off the lead. I don't know what happened there. It's so low grip in that carousel, right? You're trying to carry as much speed as possible, trying to feed the throttle as much as you can, but you're literally dancing. Your hands, if you see the steering trace in the data, are literally just back and forth. You're working so hard to get through there smoothly. And, you know, it takes one little thing to set you off, and I think that's what happened.
And it's not totally smooth right there, is it?
It's not. There's lots of bumps. You know, even if you get on the curb a little bit, it affects the balance of the car a lot. So you just got to try to be as smooth as possible in that section while being as quick as you possibly can. I mean, he's doing a great job with all that damage. You know, he's got his hood up in front of his field of vision, but still going hard.
Race control will be watching that to make sure that it's not a danger to anyone else. And Frankie was spot on there, because Trenton Estep is only a couple of places further back. He still sits inside the top 9 at the moment. Remember, this is Trenton's first weekend racing these cars. Robert Noaker leads from Reed Sweeney in second. There's a second between those two. Sam Paley's another second further back in third. Then Jeremy Fletcher backing up his good result yesterday. Max Opalski. Tyler Maxson with that flapping hood. That will not be helping his aerodynamic efficiency, particularly down that, what, 2/3 of a mile or thereabouts, half a mile long back straight. And at the moment, I suppose if he can get close enough to the car in front, he'll actually get the draft, and it won't be so bad for him. It won't actually start lifting the hood itself, the bonnet itself. Zachary Lee's gone through in 10th place. Zach, who has been dominating the Dark Horse Legends. The cars are identical. It is the drivers that put them in that class, and basically, or what that is, it's about a little bit more experience of life for those drivers. I would be comfortably in the Dark Horse Legends in terms of the age group of the drivers. If you are of a certain age and you want to drive in Dark Horse, you can promote yourself, but you can't go back the other way. You can't be too young for the Legends, if you see what I mean. We still have over 36 minutes remaining, and now the question for me is there any radiator damage on that Tyler Maxson number 74 Robert Noaker racing car? It does look like the main radiator right in the front of the grille there, Frankie, is, if it isn't broken, it's certainly moved on its mountings.
Yeah, you know, these things are beasts, right? I saw a lot of them take a lot of contact yesterday in the race, and they kept going. You know what I mean? So, you know, he looks to be okay. Did that surprise you on a car that is very close to the straight car that you can buy? It did. You know, it is a big, heavy car. You know, so I wasn't sure how it would take that beating, but you know, you can race these things real hard, and as we've seen in this series, these guys do. Tyler's in trouble, and he's overheating, and I can tell that not because I have telemetry from these cars, although there is quite a lot of data on these cars, and that certainly helped Frankie get up to speed.
he's using his windscreen wipers, his windshield wipers on the back straight, which suggests that there's some water vapor or something coming out of one of the overflows.
Yes.
So
wow.
I reckon.
Good eyes there.
I think that he's starting to struggle just a little bit with the temps there. We're just 10 minutes into the race. This is the number 74, Tyler Maxson, Tyler the Tiger. He's our championship leader, and he has had a great run. He and Robert Noecker this season. Robert's never been off the podium. Robert with a couple, 3 second places, a third, a fourth, and a win. And Tyler with 3 wins on the season, 2 thirds, a second, and a 7th, with a tiny advantage in the championship points. So 35 minutes still to go. Jeremy Fletcher has the fastest lap for Macumbi Makalia Racing in the blue and white number 22 in Dark Horse. Zach Lee in that silver bullet. How cool is that livery, by the way, as Trenton Estep fights his way past Max Opalski. That's him up to 6th position now in that yellow and black car. And well, look, you race in the trucks in the NASCAR sanctioned series. You know what it's like to have a little bit of push, a little bit of bump and run. How difficult is it if you do get thrown offline a little bit? Have you got to just sort of forget that and calm yourself down and get back to hitting your marks?
Well, I've learned being in NASCAR that it's a full contact sport, right? I grew up, or my racing history was open wheel cars where you really can't touch each other, right? It's going to end badly. Oh, we got a spin there.
And that is Brandon Godovich in the red, white and black Precision Performance Motorsport car. Now, what's happened there is he's come over the top of the hill at turn 9 and he wasn't quite straight before he put the power on. You cannot be anything other than dead straight, and you certainly can't put your wheels on the far side. That was a little wiggle, just spun up the rear wheels. Remember, no traction control and 500 horsepower. How much difference between everything going fine and everything going very squirrely at the back on that throttle pedal?
Well, you are literally on the limit. Even that section, you're flat out, but you're still turning a lot.
Oh, really?
You're on the limit.
Flat out through 9?
Yeah, like you accelerate way before the apex, and you basically just hit it at full speed. It bounces you to the side, and you're still trying to hold it around that corner, and you're right on the limit. So if you lose it a little bit, you know, it's easy to make the car go around.
I have fears for the 5-litre V8 in Tyler the Tiger Maxson's car. Oh, now this is great news for Maxson. The safety car is coming out, I think. Yes, they are slowing down, and there are the double yellows out on the circuit, and this is for Steve Vaja in the number 10 car. He has dropped to the back of the standing. He's just out of the final corner, out of Andretti in that very distinctive white car with the galloping Mustang livery on the side. So, I mean, bad news, good news. Bad news for Robert Noecker, who'd built up almost 2 seconds of lead. Oh, and we've also had a spin from the number 30, Scott Thompson, LAP Motorsports as well. And that is that very lovely sort of teal green coloured car. That, you know, that could be 1965, 66 Mustang colour right there.
I love it. It's unique. You know, yeah. I love seeing colours that you don't normally see on race cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally agree. Hayes got going again, but we need to recover the number 10 of Stephen Vaja just out of the final corner. Good news for Tyler Maxson. Oh, but Tyler Maxson's pitted, actually. So maybe he's realised that this is going to be all about damage limitation for the engine and for his championship. I'm sure they'll top up the fluids. They'll probably racer tape down the bonnet, the hood, and get him back out again and get some points. See if he can maybe pick off a couple of people at the back of the Dark Horse field. But this is not good news for his championship standing and his championship challenge. The other good news is we get to see the Dark Horse safety car. Now, for those of you here in America, they are available at your local Ford dealer. Go and put your deposit down. And even better news for us in the UK, you can get them with the steering wheel on the right-hand side and have it in the full Dark Horse trim.
Do you mean like physically the right-hand side,
yes.
or you mean the wrong? It's not,
well, no, you see,
right and wrong.
Well, no, on the right-hand side, yeah. Brandon Godovic actually saved that pretty well, but Steve Ager just came out of the final corner and his car has ground to a halt. Now, whether that is a driveline problem or something else, can't say at the moment. It's taking a flat toe. Henry Ford built the first Model T with the steering wheel on the right-hand side. It only became left-hand drive over here a few years down the line. And I think the reason that we started on right-hand drive goes back to history lesson coming up here, guys. Yeah. Things we didn't really need to know. Goes all the way back to when people were on horseback.
Okay.
And about riding next to each other, and you would always have your sword hand next to the person that you were riding past. So if they looked like they were a bit dodgy, you could whip your sword out. So you were always pressed right hand side. And that is why we shake hands right-handed, because when you extend your hand, your right hand, you are basically saying, I'm not going for my sword. Yes.
Interesting. You know, what's really interesting about that, you know, I say I could never drive a stick shift and shift with my left hand. I feel like my left arm is so uncoordinated, I would never be able to do it. Like, I'm just so used to using my right hand. Is that weird to you?
It comes to you.
Does it?
But what happens almost inevitably, most of my cars back, in fact all of my cars that I use on a daily basis are stick shift, but obviously it's left-hand stick shift. So if I go to Europe or come to the States and have to drive a stick shift or drive a race car, which typically tend to be left-hand drive with a stick shift, it takes me a little while. But then when I get into my road car back home, I go for the stick and I'm opening the window or opening the door. You know, that you've got to just kind of, you know, reappropriate yourself to each individual. Under half an hour to go now, and we are going back to green. Preston on the starter stand, enthusiastically waving the green flag. So it's Robert Noaker now who brings us back to green flag racing, and behind him Reid Sweeney immediately pulls out in that black and gold with the white extra stripes over the top of the car. That's typically Mustang racing stripes, isn't it? He's going to dive up the inside to turn one, letting that steep hill slow him down, getting the braking absolutely correctly, but he must have felt a little bit under pressure there from Sam Paley, who gets alongside into two. Oh, this could be interesting. Sam in the black and white cars, they go under the walk-over bridge and sort of, you've got to almost thread the needle through here, right up over the curbs with just the left-hand side or Michelin's on the racetrack there. And here comes Trenton Estep. Estep has already dealt, I think, with Marcus Vento, and he's moving up through the field as that distinctive black and yellow car. What a entry into the championship for Trenton yesterday. He was absolutely picture perfect, and he'll be disappointed that he's further down, but at least he knew it wasn't. I don't think it was his problem to start with, at least.
Yeah, I mean, we got another spin.
It's Kel Kearns in the.
Hopefully he can get it moving off that wall and stay green.
That's turn 9 again, isn't it, at the top of the hill? There's the pass for position from Trenton Estep as he goes up the inside. Actually, Trenton must have lost a couple of places from the restart, because that is the Valvoline, another classic livery. That is the Valvoline 18 car of Marcus Vento, and Trenton was ahead of him on the restart. That's Mark Zapalski now ahead of our race winner from yesterday in that Opel green car. Great to see that even this early in the morning there's a few people in the grandstands watching. Decent turnout yesterday, I thought. The paddock was quite busy as well. Very, very hot in the middle of the day. and that forecast is going to be the same today. This is definitely the best time to be out on the track.
Yeah, it was honestly the hottest I've ever been in a race car yesterday. I'm used to having a cool suit, and I haven't driven without a cool suit in a really long time. The car I was driving yesterday had a cool suit system, but my shirt didn't work with it. So I literally was the hottest I've ever been. It was the longest 45-minute hot race, but you know, just gotta get in better race shape, I guess.
I've got to tell you, getting in better race shape. Frankie sitting next to me, I've seen more fat on a butcher's apron than he's carrying at the moment, so there's not much of him to sweat down. But having been here in triple-digit temperatures in a front-engined car, racing a front-engined car, I feel your pain for that yesterday. The number 22 starting to make a move. This is Jeremy Fletcher. He's up on the rear bumper of third place, the black and white number 26 of Southern Paley Motorsports, Sam Paley. And meantime, the fight back continues from Trenton Estep, but at the moment it's the third place on the box that is being disputed, as Max Opalski now is having to struggle. Loads of grip on that red part of the runoff to turn 8 and 9, and everybody using it. Got to be careful you don't get called for track limits there, but it looks like Fletcher's going down the inside into the left-hander onto the back straight. Nice maneuver.
It is so interesting to watch from the outside after being in the car, right? Because I'm seeing the lines that people are taking. I'm seeing how much track they're using, or where, you know, what they're doing, and I'm learning now watching, especially having been in it, so I have experience. But I'm going, ooh, if I had another chance, I would do that, because that guy's fast.
You're going to get another chance, no doubt about it. Here's Estep to the inside, the left-hand side of Max Opalski, slightly downhill braking area at the end of the long back straight. He makes that look very, very easy again, using the ABS system all the way through to the apex. If you haven't got that little ABS light blinking as you get to the apex, you are not being as efficient as you can be. That's the only driver aid here. It is stick shift, 3 pedals. There's a little auto blip on the downshift if you need it, but you still have to do a little bit of heeling and towing, which is a thing of beauty as far as I'm concerned.
The rev match system that is in even the stock Dark Horse Mustang Dark Horse is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, you sound like a champion. If you have a passenger in there, they think that you are so good at blipping that throttle because it does it perfectly. Another really cool feature of this manual gearbox is the fact that it has no lift upshift. So you just use the clutch. You can stay pedal to the metal, use the clutch. It cuts the engine for a second so you can shift gears without having to lift off the throttle. I think that was a really cool feature.
And that, when you've only got one set of gears, there's no changing of the diff, there's no changing the gear ratios. There's going to be circuits where some corners are going to be in between gears, and you might want to be shifting up just before you get the car straight. That's a huge advantage, and also helps in the wet as well, that you're not breaking the drive line. I'm going to say that there's a few people perhaps just testing race controls patience there on track.
If I knew I could go that straight through the S's, I might have been on pole yesterday. No kidding.
Frankie Muniz is sitting next to me going, oh, they're doing that at the sharp end of the field?
That makes more sense.
Yes. Yes. Great to have him here with us after his debut in the series yesterday. I have strong confidence in seeing the following. I think he'll be back in another one.
I would love it.
Another race weekend.
This series is so good. The competition's so high. The car is amazing, right? You've got 500 horsepower. It's a Mustang. It sounds amazing, and amazing grip. I think the series is like, if I was picking a series that I wanted to get cars for, it'd be this one, right? From a cost standpoint, all that, the fact that you can get parts from the dealership and, you know, run, and especially with the Mustang Cup coming next year, it gives you a lot more opportunity to use the car and maybe perfect the car and work on the car with, you know, renting it out to other people or you getting experience. So I think that's pretty cool.
So in Mustang Cup, there's 2 separate championships, one on the Saturday, one on the Sunday, so you could share it with a friend or a family member, and they both have the same championship ending and the same prize money at the end of the championship. So here's the thing, you can start off in a street Mustang in the 4 performance driving days, go through Cup, Challenge, GT4 and GT3, all in Mustangs, not exactly the same spec, albeit, that could take you to Le Mans and the 24-hour race. And there's a race for these cars at Le Mans next year. How about that, Frankie?
Well, I know that I'm going to be asking to be in that one for sure. I don't know if I'd ever get to race at Le Mans otherwise, but yeah, the ladder system that Mustang offers and Ford offers is incredible. You know what I mean? The fact that you can go from just being doing track days, on a local level, get into Mustang Cup, kind of get some experience really racing a proper race car, move up to Mustang Challenge, move into Mustang GT4, potentially get to GT3. I mean, that's phenomenal. The fact that you can, stay with one brand, one make, and make it all the way up the ladder.
So that could be Rolex 24. That could be 12 hours of Sebring. That could be Petite Le Mans in a GT3 car. And these cars, more than 50 of them, we think, will be at Le Mans for a non-championship race on the morning of the 24-hour race at Le Mans next year. We'll be there, of course, with Radio Le Mans, our sister service to IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. I wouldn't miss it for the world. If you're listening to this and you're a racer and you think you want to be in that, get your order in for a car, because there are people who are buying these cars. They've got their orders in for these cars just to go to that race next year. Preference will be given to full season entry in Challenge, of course, but it's going to be absolutely outstanding. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am about it.
Yeah, I heard that they've sold cars to teams in Europe. They've sold cars to team in Australia, that are just specifically getting these cars to race in that race, which is a pretty cool thing. I mean, it's an opportunity of a lifetime to race Le Mans.
Every race in the Ford Performance Mustang Challenge, we look at the Ford Performance team update, where we highlight one of the many excellent teams that we have here. We're looking at MDK, Mark Wame's operation here. The number 16 car is Trenton Estep, won his first race yesterday, currently running in 5th after being pole position for this. The red background to the number 16 saying he is in the dark horse category, and the number 8 is running very nicely as well. That is down in 22nd position, although was running higher up earlier on for Tom Tate. But that is a story of real never say die attitude, because that car was in the wall yesterday, and the mere fact that that car is back out again, that's the multicoloured number 8 for MDK. Those guys have had a hard evening last night to put that car back together. MDK, our Ford Performance featured team in race 2 here at the Lone Star Le Mans weekend for Mustang Challenge. Let's pick up some of the battles further down the field. The number 30 still circulating. That's Scott Thomas in that LAP. Lewis Pericarpi's team. Lewis runs a good shop and has raced many different cars down through the years, both himself and his drivers. At the front of the field, as we're counting down to just under 19 minutes to go, Noaker has pulled out. He's extended his lead to almost 3 seconds, and he's cruising around at 2 minutes 22 at the moment. His best is a 2 minutes 20. Here's something I meant to ask you early on, actually, Frankie, because you've experienced this. Was there an element of tyre management having to go on here, even with the interventions from the safety car yesterday?
There was. I definitely, it was very hot, so the track was getting greasier and greasier. I would say kind of lap 3, lap 4, you started seeing losing the fronts a little bit. It was hard to get power down, so you had to start managing the tires. I was taking a lot of corners in 3rd gear. I started going in 2nd gear just to help slow down the car, get it rotated a little bit more, get power off. But definitely you have to manage the tires. You cannot just go out on lap 1 and just shred them. You know what I mean? No. You really got to make them last the whole race. And I think, at the end of this race, you might see some of that. Some cars falling back because they've used up all their tires more than some people behind them.
Only 90 Fahrenheit on the track today, which is 32 Celsius. We're up nearly 50 Celsius, well into the mid-120s Fahrenheit yesterday. In the air, it is a temperate 79 Fahrenheit. It'll be a lot hotter than that in the car with the engine in front of you. That's around about 26. Again, that's 10 Celsius cooler than it was yesterday, when poor Frankie was sweating bullets throughout that race. Trenton Estep then fighting his way back through after that glorious victory yesterday. He's got Sam Paley, Jeremy Fletcher, Reed Sweeney and Robert Noaker. Robert Noaker taking the lead after that slide in the carousel by Trenton Estep, who was battling for the lead at the time with championship leader Tyler Maxson, who pitted earlier on. I haven't seen if he's come back out, actually. I think he's just touring round at the back. Yeah, in fact, he's doing more than touring at the moment. He's still on the lead lap, and he's about to catch Kel Kearns in the 66 car, which turned around earlier on. That's the mid-blue coloured car. He's at the back of the Legends field, and Christian Bach would be the next place in class. And he is sitting, let me try and work out how far up the field, and he's sitting a good half a minute up the field, so I'm not sure he's going to take any more points, but he's desperate to get some points on the board, as that will affect the championship challenge. But the great news about these type of races is wherever you are, whatever your pace is on any given day, you will find somebody to race, and that is exactly what's happening at the moment. Tom Tate in that multicoloured MDK number 8, that's the car that was repaired overnight, and he is staring at the back of Kel Kearns. In fact, Tyler Maxon's just gone past the both of them on the last lap. Meantime, a little bit further up, that lovely Scott Thompson LAP Motorsport, he's got Mitch Marvosh. Mitch finished with that white Mustang yesterday at the side of the track, so he's getting a bit more racing to go. 15 minutes to go, and at this oh, Scott, what are you doing? I was just seeing how well you're doing. And he spun it at 15 minutes to go. Is it at this point that you're starting to look at the timer, work out how long you're thinking, oh, we got a little bit of hip and shoulder there from the all-white car of Mitch Marvosh.
He did a good job of keeping it off the wall.
He did a really good job. Is this when the fatigue is starting to set in?
Yeah, to be honest, yesterday, I remember the first caution came out, and I looked up at the clock at the start-finish line, and I was like, wait, it's only been 15 minutes? We still have 30 more minutes? Like, you know, sometimes when you're in the car, you feel like you've been driving forever, and so much has happened, but, you know, just you still got a lot of time left.
Sam Paley at the end of the back straight has missed his braking point. Now, that gravel is meant to slow down 210 mile an hour motorcycles and cars. I'm not sure he's going to get out of there. We're going to have to go full course yellow with about 15 minutes, the last third of the race to go. So all of that hard work by Robert Noaker and the 3-second lead is gone, and he will have to have another restart. This is great news, though, for Trenton Estep, who will be desperate to get back on the podium.
Speaking of yesterday, when the cautions come out, sometimes you go, okay, reset, you know, breathe a little bit, but you actually get hotter, right? Because you have less airflow.
Of course.
But then you're trying to, like, calm down, get ready, you know, think about the things you need to do differently to get by the guy in front of you. You know, you're trying to figure out everything you can do to keep moving up positions. It gives you a reset, right? You bunch the field back up together, and you got to be ready to attack again right after the yellow when it goes back green.
I know you're not doing a full season this year, but when do we next see you in a car, Frankie?
I'll be racing in Kansas September 27th in the Truck Series, and then I'll be doing the season finale in Phoenix. Those are my last 2 races I'm doing this year in the Truck Series, and then you know.
And nominally, Phoenix is what your home circuit.
That's my home,
closest to you, at least.
Yeah, I live in Scottsdale, which is basically Phoenix, so that's what we picked out. I was going to be racing at Bristol, but we decided that Phoenix would be probably a better one for us. So.
How do you like the idea of a baseball game at Bristol?
I did hear that. I heard that. I mean, it's like it's such a crazy thing. The first time you walk into Bristol, it's like walking into the Coliseum. You know what I mean? And when you see the banking and you see the cars go around there. I raced there last year in the ARCA series.
Oh, man.
And unbelievable. I mean, you know, people go, oh, how fast do you go? That's the question people always ask race car drivers. Like, oh, what's the fastest you've ever gone? To me, it's not the fastest you've ever gone. You go at Bristol where you're not going the fastest you've ever gone, but it feels like you're going a million miles an hour because you're never not turning. You're never not doing something.
You've never got somebody who isn't either on your bumper or on your quarter panel.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. So that's a really cool place. It'd be amazing to see the baseball game there. I'm sure a big crowd will come out, and yeah, very cool.
That is on my bucket list, to go and see the Bristol night race. To go and see under the lights the stock cars there, that is absolutely on my bucket list.
You've got to go. I, as a race fan, just in general, there's certain races that you do need to go to. I feel like, you know, Bristol is one of those. Daytona 500, you know, is up on that list as well.
When do you start planning for next year? Has that already started in terms of what you're going to be doing in your racing side of things? It
already started a long time ago. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I can't announce what it is, but I can say that I know I'll be racing full-time next year.
Full-time?
Yeah, which I'm very, very excited for. Yeah.
That's a very different mindset, isn't it, when you know you've got a full season to go at?
It is. You know, even the few races I've done this year, you know, I'm very grateful for what I've gotten to do because it's been great experience. But it's really hard to come in and do one race against people who are racing every week, who have been gelling with the team, who you know, really know the truck, really know the car. And that's the biggest thing I'm excited for. The fact that I can start working with the team now, preparing for Daytona 2025 and beyond. You know what I mean? And everything we do together at this point, you know, will help next season and prepare me. And I think that's huge. Also knowing when you have a race, if you have a bad race, that next week you're going to be back in the car. You know what I mean? It's a reset. And
you're not waiting 6 months, 3 months before the next time you go and get a competitive ride.
And unfortunately, I've had a fair amount of bad luck this year. You know what I mean? With a few mechanical issues and a big wreck at Daytona. So I'm just excited to be full-time and be as competitive as I possibly can be. I want to give myself the fairest shot as I can.
He's not giving me any hints at all, not even with his point. What bit of a charade?
I'll say, here's a hint. It'll be in one of the 3 NASCAR series.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Indeed. So here's the scoop news then. Frankie Muniz going to Hendrick Racing in Cup.
No. I only drive Fords.
Oh, you only drive Fords. Very good. Okay, I just tested you there. You say that? Okay. All right. I'm not going to put him
I would
on the
never
spot.
take that Hendrick ride. No.
Hang on, I've got a phone call here. It says Mr. Hendrick. Apparently he wants to speak to Very good. Frankie Muniz next to me, John Hindhaugh, and we've got just on 10.5 to go. Sam Paley has been pulled out of the Turn 12 gravel by our hard-working and tremendously efficient track services recovery teams. And we also have to say a big thank you, of course, to the post marshals, the flaggers, all of the race officials who give us their most precious gift, the thing that is irreplaceable, and that is the gift of their time, so that we can come and enjoy ourselves watching or doing the motor racing itself. Thank you one and all. And whether that's the very smiley people who are standing out this morning at 7 o'clock pointing us in the right direction to get our cars parked, the ladies and gentlemen who are driving the shuttle buses, the guys who are checking out passes, all of these people make the race events work, and without any one of those little cogs in the big wheel, then we wouldn't be able to go racing. So thanks very much, not just here at Cota but around the world. I'm sure there'll be a few of you back in Europe who will have been at race meetings this weekend or maybe going to them next weekend, and thanks again to all of those ladies and gentlemen. Well, this is going to be a bit of a dash for cash, I reckon. We might even get to be green at the end of this lap because the cars are just coming around. We're around about halfway around the 3.4 mile circuit. It's turn number 11 of 20, but that long, kilometre long back straight with the Dark Horse safety car. Lights are out. So yeah, all right. Now, I asked this yesterday of Ben Barker at about this time. Robert Noack is leading, and he's been pretty good so far. But do you want to be Noacker? Do you want to be Reid Sweeney in the black and gold car, Jeremy Fletcher in third in the blue and white number 22, or Trenton Estep in the number 16, who has been so quick? Which of those drivers do you now just want to beam yourself in?
Yeah, well, obviously I would love to be in the lead, right? But I feel like there's a lot of pressure when you have the lead because you don't want to throw it away. Where if you're in second, you've got a rabbit there, you've got something to chase, and you've got a goal to get by him. Where if you're in the lead, you're thinking, I can't let that guy by. So I feel like it's easier to attack than be defensive. So in my opinion, I don't know. I mean, I would never say I don't want to be in the lead, but no, I think, you know, being in second place, like, you know, you feel like you have a shot at set if he loses the position.
Good point. Yeah, there's less to lose. Robert Noack has championship aspirations as well, and at the moment he is taking points away from Tyler Maxson. He's championship contender. So yes, he'll want the win. He's got one win on the season so far, but I think with only a couple of rounds to go at Indianapolis in a few weeks' time to round off the 2024 season, he might have a little bit of a thought to that as well. What he doesn't want to do is to spin up those rear Michelin tyres as he comes out of the final corner.
100%. Wants to get power down, get away from the car behind him. And then the other thing is, like, you're going to be a little, if you're fighting for a championship, it changes the way you race a little bit, right? You want to make sure you finish. You don't want to take as much risk because you need the point. Place finish is better than a 20th place finish.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly right. Good restart by the leading two. They'll stay to drivers right as they go through the green flag. Preston once again working really hard. It's the blue and white Jeremy Fletcher car who's taking the defensive line, and here comes Trenton Estep, yesterday's winner. This is only his second race in this championship. He had a look round the outside of turn one, big red, but couldn't get that one done, and he's got Opalski right in behind him. Then behind that, that's Marcus Vento, I think. Yes, it is, in the number 18, the sort of orange and white and blue car. The Valvoline sponsorship proudly on the side. That's a great restart from Robert Noiker, and Reed Sweeney now actually having to defend his second place from Jeremy Fletcher, but Jeremy's got to keep his eyes on his mirror. And here's the problem. From Reed Sweeney down over now, everybody has to be looking as much backwards as they are forwards. You make a manoeuvre here, particularly if you're on a step of the podium at the moment, Frankie, and you might think, oh, there's second, I'm going to have a go for second. If you don't get it, you could be down in fifth.
100%. You know, that's the fine line of being a race car driver too, right? You've got to make decisions and splits, you know, immediately, right? Like, you're making a million decisions at the right time, but you want to finish the race. You want to race clean, but you also want to get that position, and you're going to do what you need to do to pass.
Second and third are absolutely side by side. Coming over the second of the rises on the back straight, now into the heavy braking area. Get right to that inside corner. You can ride that curb now. There's a little dip there. They flattened that curb off a little bit in the last couple of seasons, and it looks like we've also got, hello, ding dong, Trenton Estep calling, and through he goes, kicking the rear end of that car out as he comes through turns 13 and 14. Tyler Maxon's made up some positions as well. That yellow flag has helped him, because remember, he had to pit, but he stayed on the lead lap, and that means he's now got the opportunity to pick his way through some cars and maybe just grab back a couple of extra points as we get towards the last 5 minutes of the race. But Robert Noiker has done exactly what he needed to do and pulled away from Fletcher. Estep now re-establishing himself in third position ahead of Reed Sweeney. Max Opalski in the green car, then Vento. Zachary Lee, the dark horse legend, Macumbi Macaulay, a racing driver, in seventh position in that silver bullet. That's an easy car to spot. Beautiful piece of application of the wrap on that car, that chrome silver. There is not a crease of that car. I have no clue how many hours they must have spent putting that wrap on that car.
Yeah, with that metallic, you got to have every line be perfect. Yeah,
I'm sure they must run over it between every races, because I've not seen a fingerprint or a mark on it either. I can't keep my dashboard clean when, you know, you got a piano black dashboard. I have to have a cloth in there all the time. That's incredible for a race car. So down into the last 5 minutes now, just under. And Trenton Estep is the man moving forward. He's re-established himself in third position, as we mentioned. Across the line, Tyler Maxon has made up some positions. He's now 9th in the dark horse category, 12th overall, and he's got a couple of cars possibly within sight in what will be the next in the dark horse category. He sits in second at the moment, and Zach Lee has the fastest lap in the legends. Well, you were right to pick starting from the front there, because Robert Noiker, I mean, he's got so much pressure, and he's pulled out a second and a half.
Yeah, he's good. He was very nice. He actually came into the trailer yesterday morning, looked at my video, looked through my data, helped me a few places where I could maybe pick up some time. Good. You know, it's really cool, you know, to come into a series, and the competitors, you know, we are competitors, but they also want to see everyone else succeed too. So came in and helped me, and you know, he's definitely fast.
Well, he's got a lot of experience in other championships. Oh, that's Sam Paley off again in the 26. I'm guessing he must have dropped a lap when he got recovered. Yes, he did. And the Southern Pearly performance car's out there. Still smoke coming from Tyler Maxon's car. That was the car that we thought may have had radiator damage. He's working on Alex Buescher, the number 33. And Frankie's got a bit of an interest in this because some of his car parts are on that number 33 car. So he's rooting for that olive green car.
I am. I want to take this time also to thank the team Spark Performance, for giving me the opportunity to drive, trusting me to bring their car back in one piece. They did an amazing job, and I had a blast with them all weekend.
Cross the line with 2:20. Oh, we might not have got the... I don't think we got the white flag that time around. It will be one further lap then. I was looking at the time. It was all down to when Robert Noack crossed the line. I'll keep my eye on that. Didn't see Preston waving it. We don't have a view of the starter stand here, but time will elapse towards the start line next time around. 45 minutes. The race is a time certain affair. Opalski going wide, but cuts back to the apex of turn 6 and then through 7. And starting to climb up through 8 and 9. Love this section of the circuit. Absolutely brilliant. You can really get the car hooked up on the exits of the curve. Oh, that's a little bit too wide for Marcus Vento. Oh, now...
Kept his foot in it, though. Kept his foot in it.
Yes.
Brave.
He didn't come all the way off the throttle. That would have been bad there.
Yeah.
Great looking car in the Valvoline Heritage colours. And Sam Paley is off at the runoff at turn number 11. Looks like race control are going to leave that car there. Also, we've had a couple of final warnings for cars further down the field. Dr. Rod Randall and also, these are all at turn 20. Who was the other one I saw? Was the 82 car, which is Drew Nobat. So they're on their final warning for track limits. Here comes Tyler Maxon on the all-white number 94 of DJ Randall, the Core Motorsports car with the stripes on the roof. Not sure where his allegiances lie in terms of that, but I really like the blue and white stars and stripes there. Now the tyres are starting to show for the drivers who have slightly abused them during this race.
Oh yeah, power down, super tough, getting lots of wheel spin through here. I'm sure the back end is wanting to come around, but you just got to keep your hands as smooth as possible, get through there, feed the power as much as you can, and make them last one more lap.
On the flasher, Jeremy Fletcher, that obviously gives you an extra 35 horsepower when you do that. It doesn't, but what he's trying to do is just catch the attention of leader Robert Noack as he goes through. Preston is now waving the white flag on the starter stand, and that means we've got just under 3 miles now. And to me, I think Fletcher is just closing up a little bit. He took quite a bit of time out of the leader. Now, is Robert Noack running out of performance? Fletcher can sniff a victory here, and he's come from 1.9 seconds. I wonder if Fletcher had lifted thinking that was the last lap the previous time around. But this is going to be a battle for the lead now. Amazing stuff from Jeremy Fletcher. He may have just worked this to perfection. Hasn't had a victory. 3 third positions, the best of his races before this weekend. And he's showing the nose of his Mustang halfway around the lap. Trenton Estep in 3rd. I don't think it's going to be a factor here. Tyler Maxon up into 7th in the dark horse category. 8th position in the GC from the back of the grid with an ailing car. That is not a happy Mustang V8 in that car.
And the drivers in the dark horse category are really fast. They're really good. So to be able to come back from the back, pass everybody, get through the field, that's pretty remarkable.
Battle for the lead.
He's there. He's there. He
absolutely. So are you going to throw? You've got to throw it. Jeremy Fletcher's got to throw it here.
Is he going to pull a NASCAR move and move him out of the way at the last corner?
Robert Noack then. How is he going to play this one? Fletcher just drops off the back at 15. Now the long carousel. Turn it in, balance the car on the throttle. You can quite easily overdo it here, overwork the left front tyre, but that doesn't matter now because there's only 2 more corners. Down the inside of turn 20?
I mean, you have to try, right?
You would try.
I would try.
get it in, roll off the brakes. Might be not quite close enough. Oh, he's going to have a go. He's coming from a long way back. Whoa! Wipes his nose. Noeka wipes the nose of Fletcher, and he will go on to take the victory. Robert Noeka gets his second race win of the season, and Jeremy Fletcher comes through in second position. That's his best race finish of the season prior to this weekend. Trenton Estep has a second visit to the Formula One podium here at COTA. He will be thinking if only on that. Then it's Reed Sweeney, Max Opalski, Marcus Vento, Zach Lee in 7th overall wins the Dark Horse Legends from Tyler Maxson, who gets 7th place points. And that's how you win championships, when you are having a bad day and you still pick up 7th place points.
Yeah, it's amazing. He did a great job. Obviously, you know, hate that he had the contact early on, had the damage, came in, fixed it, and worked his way back through the field. Great job.
You make a good point there. Robert Noeka Racing, they knew they had a little bit of time to get that car back out there, filled it up with coolant, taped down the hood, and sent him again. Here's our unofficial results on a race that both Frankie Muniz and myself, John Hino, have thoroughly enjoyed. Our second race of the weekend. Noeka then takes it from Jeremy Fletcher and Trenton Estep. It was a really grand start from the second time of asking on the pole for Trenton Estep. Tyler Maxson in the orange and black car came through in a second, and those two at the front gave us a great race, with Jeremy Fletcher staying in third. This is what we did see yesterday, as Estep had it mostly where had to defend early, number 11, and that allowed Tyler Maxson in the 74 car to go all the way round the outside. But that wasn't over. Oh no, let's keep fighting too wide through 13 and 14, and then the little touch that I think set things in motion. It was more than a little touch, wasn't it, when we say that? Jeremy Fletcher came round the outside. Then a really weird one. Was there another touch in the middle of the carousel? No, there wasn't. It was just the rear Michelin spinning up there a little bit, and that put Estep all the way back down the field. He fought back to third position. Tyler Maxson with damage in an overheating car with the hood flapping. He had to come into the pits and start his fight back. He was brave early on, but really he had a slightly wounded car at that point. Stephen Veitcher stopped out of turn 20 and brought out one of the incidents where we had to neutralise the rage. Brandon Godovic had a really wild ride at the top of turn number 9 in the red, white and black number 46. He needs to put the lottery on this week, because how he stayed out of that. There was a bit of skill there. Then a final race, a final yellow flag came out. We saw Kel Kern's car going around as well. A couple of unusual offs for Sam Paley, actually. And first of all, maybe he had a braking problem down at turn number 12. That brought out a yellow. That was the final yellow that got everybody back up. And then he had a similar problem on the brakes at the other end of the long start, the long back straight. At the end, nice bit of Tokyo drift towards the line from Jeremy Fletcher. He finishes a second away. But it's a victory for Robert Noeka, his second of the season. Frankie Muniz has been alongside me. You enjoyed that?
Oh, I loved it. I will say this. I got to commend you. I think commentating is one of the hardest things in the world. To be able to watch what's going on the track, know the drivers, know everything about them, and make it make sense, I think is really remarkable. So you do a great job.
In fairness, it's not my first barbecue.
Yeah.
for that. Frankie wasn't in that race, all right? So we just need to say that.
Well, hey, at least from the commentating booth, I still beat one person.
That's excellent.
You know.
That's very impressive. Shake your hand, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure to have Frankie Muniz with us here in the IMSA Global Broadcast Centre. Congratulations to Robert Noeka and Jeremy Fletcher, Trenton Estep on the overall podium. Zach Lee bossing again. That's another victory in the Legends from Alex Buescher, second in the Legends again this weekend. And Mike Stillwagon takes the third step of the box for DHL. 2 races to go. It will be at another iconic circuit. Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That will round off the season and will crown our Mustang Challenge champions. Make sure you join Shea, Adam and me for that one. For Frankie Muniz, I'm John Hindle. Thanks to all our hard-working production staff here at the circuit and up in Concord. We'll see you at the track.